This has officially just become Johnny does things for me. Because it's easier than giving himself a heart attack watching me do it. Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to yet another episode here on the Shamblecraft server. And today, you join me here at the good old base because we need to do some work. So, as you can probably tell from the mysterious ticking noise, we are currently getting some stuff sorted into our storage system because, well, it's sort of became a bit of a it's sort of become a bit of a shulker monster here, and we really need to clean that up. So right now, it's all being sorted down here into these various chests here. Oh, we actually left a stack of grass there. So there we go. We are now sorting all of this into there, and I think, yeah, that's probably full. Can we access that directly? Yes, we can. Let's throw a full stack in there. And, yeah, we are trying to... Is there anywhere in this base where I haven't put a barrage of shulker boxes that I don't really know what to do with? Well, anyway, the reason we're here is not really to be cleaning this place up. What we are actually doing here is we need to go up here and start dismantling some things. So, for those of you who have been following this series, you will know that a while ago we built these farms here, and as you can tell from this spider here, I've done a bang-up job lighting it up. Also, this thing keeps stopping all the time, and there is now apparently a little piglin as well. So yeah, so this farm here has worked sort of okay. It has been able to produce a heck of a lot of melons, as you can tell. But the problem is, well, we don't really spend that much time in the base here anymore. So having all of the farms here really isn't working the way it's intended. So because of this, what I want to do, that I have already discussed previously, is I want to move all of these over to the new Guardian base, because that is where we're probably going to be spending most of our time. And also, I always felt like these farms didn't really fit in here, so these are going to be dismantled. We're going to be tearing them down, and we're going to be bringing the materials over to the Guardian Temple, where we're going to be building them back up. And that's going to be done with this thing. It's also going to be done with these two. And, well, as you can tell now, it's currently producing both melons and pumpkins. And the plan is that the new farm is going to be one of each. Like, if I jump up there, you can see that there's one side here that's pumpkins and one side that's melons. And what I want to do, I want to instead make at least one farm this size, maybe even another one for each of them. So maybe I'll have 2 of these for melons and 2 of these for pumpkins. And also, in terms of the chicken, as you can see, it produces a lot of feathers. It produces some chicken. It's not as effective as I'd like, but, I mean, it is a decent source of food. And these are going to be torn down, and we're going to be moving them over to our new Guardian base. And, I know what you're thinking, Fally. We've already been through this. Does this mean you're abandoning this base? Well, no. But at the same time, yes. As I've alluded to before, the thing about this base here is that, as I've said before, I built it too big, and I just can't really find a good use for it. So I am, of course, going to be leaving the base. It's not like I'm just going to be clearing it out and then going off on my merry way. But I don't really think this is where we're going to be spending all that much time. What I'd rather we do is we move all the farm stuff over to the Guardian farm or the Guardian Temple, and we're going to leave the storage system here. And who knows, maybe I have a stroke of inspiration and we can do something clever with this space. But for now, I'm thinking, yeah, this as much fun as it was building this place, it has definitely given me some feedback for myself for Season 2. Because if there's one thing I'm going to be very careful not to do in Season 2, it is to make a base that is this big straight away. Because in hindsight, it was just way too big. But yeah, as you can see, materials being drawn in, they're being shot through the system here. You can see, there's even sheep in the redstone. Good grief. But yeah, what I'm going to do, I'm going to let this here tinker away. And while that's tinkering away, I'm going to head up top. And I'm going to start dismantling the farms so we can bring them to the Guardian Temple. Well, okay then, so as you could probably tell from that time lapse, that was a pain in the arse, because as you could see when I was trying to pick up the train tracks, I kept breaking the floor, and I did not have enough of this. So what I need to do, I need to go downstairs into the storage system and see if we actually have the materials needed to fix that floor. But that is basically the melon pumpkin farm packed neatly down. I have some of it in my inventory still. And what we need to do now, we do not have the correct color terracotta by the looks of it. So what we're going to do, we're just going to use the blue terracotta, because at least then it's going to be, at least then it's not going to be completely open, and it's going to be easy for me to see and then replace later. But with the farm sort of taken care of, that is one floor too high, with the farms here sort of taken down and taken care of, the next thing we need to do is take it over to our Guardian Temple. And while we are there, we also need to make sure that we bring enough materials to build more of it. So yeah, we're gonna leave the chicken farm for now, simply because it's yeah, honestly, because I don't want to deal with that right now, because that is a lot of chickens. So here you can see the issue is that when I'm trying to break blocks, it just, because of the haste too, it breaks too quickly. But that is the melon and pumpkin farm taken care of, and that is the most important one. So we're going to be bringing that over to the Guardian Temple, and once we get over there, we can start sort of mapping out where we want the farms to be and how we're going to be getting them into our storage system. So yeah, I'm going to bring the materials over, and I'll catch you at the Guardian Temple. Well, okay then, we are at the Guardian Temple, and if we head inside here, we will get to the sort of main area. And what we're going to do today, we're going to be jumping out here. So, as I've said previously, I really want to have the farms set up in sort of the, I don't know what to call it, the sort of dead space here that is not exactly inside the temple but sort of outside the temple. And yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of space there that I don't really know what to do with, and I was thinking, well, that would make good space for a farm. So what we need to sort of consider here though is where is the storage system. So if I head back in, we will see that the storage system that's supposed to be connected to the farms, if we use, if we go behind here, we'll see that the what's going to be defined as the input area is going to be at 784, 784. So that's fairly easy to remember. And if we then go back outside, and go to 784, 784, we will sort of have a rough estimate of where we're going to be. So basically this, I'm going to put 2 purple blocks there. So that is where we're going to be staying in terms of farms. Well, not staying, but I mean, we need the farms to be connected to that slot right there. So then the big question is, where do we want to do the farms in relation to another? I feel like we sort of have 2 options. We can either do all the farms on this side and then save this side for something else, or we can try and do farms all around, but maybe with a separate storage thing that transports everything to here. That would work in the way that it would give us a lot of farm space, but honestly, I don't know how much farm space we need. Because let's be fair, we are approaching endgame here, and well, potatoes, carrots, and wheat aren't exactly a high value market anymore. But I was thinking it would be really cool if we could do maybe a big melon farm there, a big pumpkin farm there, semi-automatic wheat, carrot, and potato farms up here. Or maybe you know what, we could do melon, pumpkin, carrot, potato, and then a massive wheat farm right here. And what I was thinking, we'll do the classic one where you just plant everything, you let it grow, and then you pull a lever in it and it flushes it down into a hopper chain. I think that could work, and then this will be where it's all siphoned to and it falls in here, and Bob's your uncle. Well, okay, I think that could work. I think that is the idea we're going to be going for, actually. So with that sort of taken care of, what I think I'm going to do, I am going to grab some scaffolding from my ender chest, and I'm going to see if I can manage to put together a very rough outline on how I want this to look. Well, okay then, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of work has been done, and we are getting quite close to having a fully finished and functional farm setup. So sadly, replay mod was acting up a bit, so I honestly don't know how much of the replay footage is going to work. You're just going to have to see how much of it is viewable. But yeah, let me show you the finished farms. So here we have our melon and pumpkin farm. It is your bog standard design with the checkered pattern and the pistons and the observers. That is churning out the melons and the pumpkins at a fairly reasonable speed. And over here we have the semi-automatic wheat farm that has been growing for a bit now while I've been eating my lunch. And over here we also have the potatoes and the carrots in the same fashion. Now, if I've done this correctly, pulling this lever here is going to flush all of this, and it's also going to flush all of this. But I am seeing one thing that I actually need to take care of first, and that is we need to actually cover up the glass in the middle there. Now, do we have enough of the cyan stained glass? For those of you wondering, Fally, how many resources did you spend on this? The answer is yes. Yes, I did. Quite a lot of resources went into this. Basically, I have pretty much completely emptied out one of my Redstone Express stock boxes, in addition to all the materials we collected from the old farm earlier. So yeah, this has been a fairly resource-heavy project. The big question is now, do we have enough cyan stained glass? We should, come to think of it, have cyan stained glass down here. Yes, we do. And while I'm here, let me show you. We've installed this section here, so we now have these bits here. That still needs to be moved automatically. I need to figure out a way to do that. This is basically what's been collecting today while I've been working, because I emptied this out earlier. But as you can see, this is now bringing in all the melons, and it's bringing in the pumpkin, and it is going to be bringing in the carrots and the potatoes once we flush that as well. And over there we have the wheat, the seeds, and where I'm going to be putting the hay bales as I make them. But yeah, that is pretty much the farms. And was it this one where we didn't have enough glass then? Yeah, it looks like it. So there's some bits and bobs that still need to be done, but overall a lot of the work has now been taken care of. So first of all, thank you very, very much, Johnny, for helping out with the redstone. I was really struggling with some of this redstone here, and as you can see, a lot of it is still visible, so I'm going to have to do a small little redesign here. But what I am considering is actually just making a station right here where you could basically, you know, dump things right here. So I might add just a chest here with a hopper that points straight into that, or straight into this hopper here, because as you can see now, it's bringing in all the glass that I put in, and also working on the pumpkins and the melons that have been deposited by the other one. But yeah, that is enough of that. Let us see if this bit works. So in theory, when I pull this lever, all of this should be flushed into these hoppers, and it should be going off into the storage system. So it looks good. It looks good. Now let's head in here, and we should be able to see, yeah, we have the seeds arriving. We have the seeds arriving. It's currently actually working on churning out the seeds. So if I go down here now, we should see that the number of seeds is increasing. Alright, so that means that it is actually working. We have a functioning farm setup, which is, I'm not gonna lie, I think I'm actually a bit impressed at myself here, because I honestly didn't expect to be able to pull this off on the first go. So while we're here, I mean, it's not fully grown, but apologies, it's not fully grown, but let's see if this works too. And it does. And of course we need to do this. I could of course replace that lever with a button. So there we have it. And if we now go down, we can basically go down to probably here. We'll see that the potatoes are zooming through at whatever speed the hopper allows. So basically now it's going to be all the potatoes first. And if we go here, we can see that most of the potatoes are going out and have gone out. You can see here that, yeah. So basically the only limitation to this system is the hopper speeds, but honestly I'm not too fussed about it, because what this means is I can stand AFK here for a couple of hours and it will get me a bunch of melon and pumpkins, and these crops will grow. So that's the only downside here is, of course, I have to manually plant some of this. So for instance, you can see it hasn't come through here yet. So you can see the potatoes are starting to come in, which means we've got all the seeds in. We've got all the wheat in. Did the wheat get... Yeah, I didn't really think of that. There might be some delay, of course, here, given that everything goes through one chain of hoppers. So right now it's working through the potatoes, and you can see it's still working on the glass, which is going to go over here. And everything that doesn't find a spot gets sent straight in here to the overflow. But yeah, that's pretty much it. All that remains to do now is figure out what do we want to put in these last 4 slots here. And I'm thinking maybe one for sea lanterns, most definitely, since as we're going to be using these to make... Did we have a... No, we didn't have a crafting table over there. So if we go over here now... Isn't this what we used to make sea lanterns? Oh, you need some normal prismarine shards as well. Alright. So if we go over here then, and we have too many of them. If we go in here, we put some of these back, and we take a couple of stacks of those, and then go over here, we should be able to make at least, yeah, we were able to make a stack of sea lanterns. So if we now put that there, we're going to flip it over. So that means that in the 5th slot, that's where we're going to want to put sea lanterns on the filter, and accessing the filter shouldn't be that big of an issue. We're actually going to be using the sea lanterns as a step stool here. So that is the filter right there. So that means that number, I mean that one was cyan glass, yeah, and then this one is going to be the sea lantern. So if we do this and remove the sorting stick, now that should be the sea lantern. So if we go through here now, yep, we got the sea lanterns coming through. Alright, so that leaves 3 slots that I'm going to have to figure out. But yeah, that is the farms pretty much set up, and I'm very happy with it. All that remains now is of course, the boring bit, which is replanting all of the wheat and all of the carrots and the potatoes, and I didn't have enough food for that jump. How silly of me. The, of course, positive about doing it this way is that, for instance, if I decide, okay, I'm going to be making a ton of golden carrots, so I'm going to need a ton of carrots, then I can basically just fill both of these up with carrots and get a massive load of carrots. And if I just need a bunch of wheat, I can put a bunch of wheat here. So the upside of having this sort of semi-automatic thing is that, of course, we can grow whatever we need, regardless of what was originally intended to be there. But yeah, that is the farms all done. All that really remains is to connect the Guardian output into the storage system. So I'm going to do that real quick, and hopefully when you see me again, this entire farming setup is done. And just like that, viewers, with a little help from Johnny once again, thank you very, very much, Johnny, we are good and ready. So we now have an automatic dropper here that sends all the items from the Guardian farm up to the storage system, meaning that we now get all the Guardian drops automatically sorted in here, along with the fish, along with the melons, along with the pumpkins, the carrots, the potatoes, not the hay bales because we need to make them manually, and the seeds. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring, I think 3 stacks is going to be enough, and I'm going to bring a stack of carrots. Actually, I'm going to bring 2 stacks of each. And what we're going to do, we're going to go out and replant. But thank you very much, Johnny, there he is, for helping out. He's been in voice with me, along with Elvin, Nuke, and Mick helping out here. So thank you, everyone, for helping out with, you know, advices and redstone help. But yeah, that is pretty much the entire farming setup good and ready. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to do that off camera, is I'm going to be planting everything up again so that we can have a good bunch of wheat, carrots and potatoes now that we finally have this farm set up. But with that taken care of, that is basically what I have time for in this episode. So thank you very, very much for watching. Apologies once again for the delay between episodes, but as I said previously, we have reached the point where, I mean, as I said earlier in the episode, we've reached the point where it's like, it's becoming increasingly difficult to create fun content, and this farming thing here is something I've been looking forward to for a while. I finally had enough free time to do it, and I decided, well, this is definitely going to make it into an episode. So thank you very, very much, and yeah, that's enough rambling from me. I will catch you in the next one. Bye bye.